Hello, Divine. I hope you're having an amazing Monday so far. It's been a while since I came on, but I am coming back with good news, okay? Today, I just wanted to drop something here for you on your timeline for Monday, okay? Excuse me. On this day of April the 22nd, what we are no longer doing, we are no longer honoring titles that do not honor us. We are no longer honoring titles that are dishonorable to us. What are titles? Titles are mother, brother, sister, father, uncle, aunt, cousin, any title, marriage, relationship, bestie, any title, any relationship, any experience that you've given a title to in your life that is dishonorable to you in any way. How does dishonorable look? Well, if this title only brings negativity to you, toxicity to you, if it only takes from you and never replenishes you, this title needs to be separated, disconnected from you. This is a title that you need to let go. Like I said, everything in life, everything that is in your life is an extension of you. So once you start to grow, as you grow, everything, all the attachments that are not supposed to grow with you and that inhibit your growth anyway, they come apart. They come apart. So either voluntarily or involuntarily, if you do not have, you may have the awareness that does not match the action or courage to actively let something go because it's been a part of you for so long. Don't worry, the universe will do it for you. But if there's anything in your life that is dishonorable to you, it is time to let it go. We are living in a new era of truth. We are living in a new era of love, self-love that comes first for yourself and then to everyone in your life. Everything that is in your life gets that from you. But first you must give it to yourself. How does that look when you are considering who and what to let go? And the only reason, and I'm not pushing, I know that I'm always talking about this, but it is so important. It is so vital to your growth. There are only two choices that you have in life, right? In everything, there are two choices: either stay and repeat or grow and evolve. You have to answer that question. As to what you are going to do and how you're going to live your life. Are you going to live your life honoring contracts? And when I say contracts, like marriages, relationships, honoring things outside of you that are dishonorable to you, or that makes you a people pleaser? Or are you going to start listening and living for yourself? Listen, that can be the hardest, most selfish job that you will ever have to do, embodying the courage to live for self, embodying the courage to say, I matter, I count, I'm valuable, and I'm protecting that with all that I have. Listen, that is one of the hardest things you'll ever have to do, especially if you're not used to doing that, if you're not used to considering yourself, if you're not used to valuing yourself, if you're not used to loving yourself, and if you're used to allowing your relationships to dictate who you are, that's going to be hard for you. And this is something, the only reason I speak on anything is because I've gone through it or I'm going through it. And this is something that I'm going through right now. I've allowed certain relationships to stay in my life. I was honoring them because of blood ties, right? When you're thinking about your families, and specifically, I've mentioned this before, I've had, in order for me to really be effective, I feel that I must be vulnerable in certain situations. So, and I'm not used to doing that. To people that I do not know and have never met. But if my story will help you in any way, then I'm going to share, right? So for me, something came up this weekend, or this week, and it's been coming a long time, and I've made a lot of changes in my life. Since I started my healing journey, I've made a lot of changes and cut a lot of people out of my life who no longer need to be there. But I was still holding on to the relationship of my mother. Now, I've mentioned in the past that that's never been a great relationship. that's always been a relationship, a source of pain, a relationship that carried a source of pain. And no matter how I've tried or how many ways I've tried, it's never changed. It's always stayed the same. And I realized, or I felt like I had gotten to a point where, okay, I know what this relationship is, and, I'll leave it there because, this person is my mother, and I still have to have, I still have to honor them in some way, even though this relationship has never honored me in any way, and as a matter of fact has been nothing but a huge dishonor to me. I still was willing to allow it into my life, off of the strength of that being my mother. And however, it's like when God starts moving you, when he starts changing you, when he starts growing you, he separates you from all that once broke you. Do you know what I mean? And he's not going to take you back to that place. You may try to, because obviously he loves us more than we can ever imagine. So he knows what's best for us, right? So once he starts making these changes, this is why this is a whole transition and a whole process of trusting God more than you trust yourself, until you can trust yourself as you trust God, right? So something happened over the weekend, and I had to step up in a major way and truly, for once, disconnect myself from this relationship, this mother-daughter relationship that never was. The fantasy that I had held around that relationship for so long, I finally saw it for what it was, and I realized to even still allow this relationship in my life was a disservice to my growth and my health in some way. So I had to make the decision to fully and all the way cut this relationship and release that person with love. Now, is that to say that, I hold any type of contempt or ill will for this person? No, the love is still there, and it will always be there. And I have enough grace for this person and myself to be able to release them with love. But this is another relationship that I cannot allow within this, right? Because it takes away from this, right? And the only way I want to keep moving is forward. I only want to continue to evolve. So if you're struggling, and I know now, because I've become a healer, because I am a healer and I've become a healer of women, I know that a huge source of our trauma usually starts with the relationship, direct relationship that we have with our mother. So I will ask yourself, if you are a woman, and if you are having one of those relationships, or have had one of those type of relationships with your mother, a relationship that's not serving, a relationship that takes, a relationship that's not love, a relationship that you just want to hold on to because you're hoping that that person will one day come to what you need them to be. If they haven't done it yet, they will not do it. And that's, and who's to say it's never going to happen, but it's in their own time. And the best thing that you can do for yourself is to release yourself from that relationship, so that you can grow. Because as long as you're attached to, as long as they're still in your life, they are still getting some of your energy. And for me, I am in the process of calling back my power. And when we're calling back our power, a beautiful butterfly just came up outside. But when we're calling back our power, well, that means that everything that exists in our life is getting some of that power. So when I disconnected that, that's something that's coming back to me now. So I feel more increased, right? Everybody's not going to be able to accept the new you. Everybody's not going to be able to accept the change, and that's okay. It's not about them. It's about you. Do not allow anything to come onto you that brings you out. If there is anything that comes onto you that makes you second guess yourself, your growth, or brings you out of yourself in any way, it's not a good thing, right? As long as you're staying prayerful and close to the divine, you will be fine. But this comes with courage, right? You have to have a certain amount of courage, not only to hold the mirror up to your face and be aware of who you are and what you are and be willing to tackle everything that you do not like. You also have to be willing to do that for everyone in your life, okay? That is the only way you're going to experience true growth. And that is the only way that, what's the point in healing if you're going to stay continuously attached to the same people? That healing, listen, we're going to be healing throughout life. You're never going to stop healing, but if you're constantly attached to what broke you, you're going to keep being pulled back to that place. So when you make the cut on anything, make the cut and make it all the way, because you don't want to keep going back to that, right? And it's going to take some time. Listen, I've been this has been a lifetime for me, a lifetime of coming about for me. And it happened without my conscious intention, but thank God I had the courage and the conviction and the power to see it through. And after it was done, whew, I was waiting for the pain that never came. The pain of that release, of that let go, never came to me. I've only felt empowered, right? I've only felt empowered because I no longer have to nurse something that's broken. I no longer have to lie to myself about what is and what isn't, right? This is what it means to let go of the fantasy reality, which is the life you create and you would like it to be, instead, and overlooking the reality of the situation, of what things are, of who people are, and accepting them and processing that and planning your life as you go forward, right? Whew. So I know I said a mouthful today, but I know that this message is going to hit someone who really needs to hear it, because listen, too many of us suffer from mother hunger. And it shows up in our relationships in a lot of different ways. It can show up as codependency, mother hunger. It can show up as negative, unhealthy attachments. It can show up as insecurity, self-loathing, depression, anxiety, all of these things. Anything that you did not receive from the person you were supposed to receive it from as a child, you take that with you, and you take that to every relationship that you have. And whether you consciously know it or not, you try to get every relation in your life to give you what you did not get as a child, right? Cut it. Cut it. It's time to let it go. Okay? Now, I'm never asking anyone to do something that I have not done. And this was a long time coming. So I don't expect anyone to just run out and say, oh yeah, this is what I'm going to do. Because listen, this takes a certain amount of awareness, self-awareness, right? This takes a certain amount of growth and conviction, right? And what I will say is, leading up to this, I have journaled repeatedly. I have written letters of release repeatedly for this person, but it's almost like the universe was begging me for an actual act of letting go. Like, you have to be intentional in your communication to the universe as to what you want and how you are building the foundation. Like, mothers, they give us foundation, right? So when you do not have that foundation, you're fractured in some way. So you're walking through life like this. Do you know what I mean? Until God, truly brings you in and centers you and roots you into who you are, your divine self. And then it's like he brings all of the awareness, all of the knowing, all of everything you need to make those necessary adjustments. So this is nothing that you are going to have to do on your own. This is everything that he's going to do with you and for you. Okay? Wishing you nothing but light and love. And I hope that you have an amazing, amazing day. Nothing but love and light. Remember, trust God more than you trust yourself, until you can trust yourself as you trust God. Okay? And all else will be provided unto you. Have an amazing day. Nothing but love and light. Mwah.